to another video. Today we're going to go over a little bit of the interface for the Webmin client that we installed on our last video. If you missed that video, go back and check that video so you can actually see how we installed it. It was fairly painless. A couple of commands, a couple of setups. Of course, you got to have a web server already existing as well as a Microsoft SQL database. But once you have that, you have this nice interface that you can log into and manage your server. Again, when this thing comes up, you have some quick charts here of your CPU. Again, this is in real time, so this thing is actually changing here in real time. You have your memory that's being used as well as your disk. And this gives you some server information here about your kernel install, how long this thing has actually been up, running processes, of course your memory, and then you have your packages. So one thing that I actually want to note, since this is running from an Ansel, it says that this system has actually been up 7 days, but what that is the actual system itself and not this system here. So be a little bit mindful of when it says, hey, this is your system information. The uptime is actually pulling from another location. So we're going to go over here to system and kind of look at some options. So we have, I want to go to Webmin. We have backup configuration files. So if you click this, you have an option to back up all the configuration files for this entire server. So let's say you installed a SSL cert on this server. You can back that up. You can back those configurations up. Let's say you set up your Apache server. So you have this Apache server here. You can back this up. This is actually really amazing. So when you back this up, you have some options to save it as a local file. You can FTP, you can save into an SSH somewhere, or you can say download this into a browser. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to show you how easy this interface is. So I'm going to say backup now. And it says your backup is being processed. So what happened was, I saved my entire Apache configuration just in case the server crashes and I need to restore. I've saved that and created that, so I have all of my information here. All my backups, all my configurations. Guys, that is slick like Slick Rick. And this is for any configuration. Anything that we install on the server, we can do that. This actually is giving you pretty much everything that's on here, but this is all configuration. So you can bring this server back. As long as you put Webmin on here, you can actually go over here to restore. You can pick Apache, and then you can say apply these configurations and restore now. And when you do restore now, it's going to ask for the configuration files that it just downloaded and created for you. You give it, it makes it, it's done. Set it and forget it. Here you have option to change the language or the themes. Let's see, Webmin UI theme, Webmin theme. Let's see, I don't know what authentic theme means. I thought this was actually a pretty fancy theme to me. Doesn't look like it done much. Am I just tripping? I don't know. I think I'm tripping because, wait, what? Oh, personal choice. No, guys, I don't think theme is actually working at all. It says personal choice, but maybe you have to log back and log back in. Webmin action logs. This is just logs of what's happening in the system. Webmin configuration. Guys, this is really cool because this you can do IP access control, so certain IPs can get to this. You can actually enable and disable Webmin modules. You can set up LDAP authentication. You can create anonymous modules. You can set things for the web server, SSL encryption, certificate authority, change your module titles, of course. Here's some more themes. I want to play with themes. I want themes to work. I really do. It says it's dark theme, but I don't think so. So you can set up fonts. So you can literally do a lot of customization with this. Webmin service index and Webmin users. So you can add users to the system. And the cool thing about this is you're adding a Webmin user, but you can also add Linux users straight from here too. And you can even do two-factor authentication with this. How crazy is that? So you have to go and enable it in the Webmin configuration. Let's say we want to do Google Authenticator app. Okay, so it looks like we need to install Perl. So let's see if we can do that real quick. 10.14.0.186. Yep. So, that's already the newest version. So we might have to do some configurations there to even make that work. But again, you can do Google Authentication on there. So under System, this gives you boot and shutdown options. This tells you things that actually start up. If it's start up on boot, you can actually literally change this to yes from this interface. So this is pretty much setting your start services. So instead of you typing those full commands out, you can literally go here and do that. You can change the password. You can manage user and groups. I'm going to kind of just jump around here. So these are all the users that you have on the system right here. You can add a user, and you can add groups, and you can add users to those groups. You can disable users, and you can enable the selected users. Please don't disable root. Hopefully they have that built in, but I don't even want to test that because I knew the older systems actually had that where you could disable root, which was no bueno, guys. No bueno. So Apache Webserver, this is just the bee's knees here, guys, because you're able to create and manage your web clients here. So remember in the first video when we created that virtual host, if you go here, you can literally create your virtual host here. So again, you're only going to a couple of configuration files, but see how I'm jumping in and out of these pieces inside of the Webmin client. This is just bonkers how easy this is, guys. I mean, crazy. MySQL database server. If you remember from the last video, you need to make sure that the first time you see this interface is going to ask you to log in with a user that can do pretty much everything. So I went ahead and logged in as root. You can have other users. But you can literally go here and say create new database. And you can give this database a name. And then you can literally go to town. You can give this thing an initial name and start creating tables. And literally, that's going to create you a database. This right here, again, is insane of how easy this is for you guys to use. This is if you had a mail server installed on here. There's no mail server on here. SSH Server, this is just giving access to allow users to SSH into this box. So these are all the servers that are actually installed on here. We're going to jump down to others. We have the Perl module. And I'm going to jump down, and I noticed that we actually seen right off the bat. And this shows everything that's actually installed on this box here too. We can jump down to PHP configuration. It says no PHP configuration file was found. You can adjust the module configurations to set the correct path to PHP configurations. So this says that this is the location of that information. So let's see, guys. Let's see. Let's see if we can CD into there and see if that's even a thing. Okay, CD PHP. Oops. Yeah, so it looks like this is pointing to PHP 5, but we have 7 on here. Yep, 7.2. Let's see. CD CLI. Yes, so we are in ETC. I'm going to go ahead and change this to PHP 7.2, and I'm going to do 7.2. Actually, no. That was this one. For sure. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And so it looks like once we save that, we're able to see the configuration. So pretty much this web interface is reaching out to those locations on the server, and it's creating kind of that interface for you to actually edit that. So you can actually say manage. So that file that I just pointed to, now we can actually manage that. See how crazy that was, guys? So let's say I went to like database settings. This allows me to manage the database, and it's going to update that configuration file, the one that we pointed to. That's how crazy easy this stuff is. PHP variables. So again, this allows you to manage the PHP variables. Directory settings. This allows you to make directory setting changes. Again, guys, this is super easy. Let's see, upload and download allows us to upload things into the system, and so we can upload to the server by just dragging files here. So instead of I guess trying to wget a file or something that you downloaded from the net that you want it on the server, all you would literally have to do is drag this file there, and it's going to show up in the directory you pick. But let me show you something else. Once you click the location to like the folder icon, I say, let's say we want to go to home. I want to send this to home. Will you let me? Oh no, not there. Okay. We'll do it in Ubuntu as well. So we'll say select. So see, home in Ubuntu. I'm going to show you guys some magic. So this backup file that we just made, let's I don't know, let's drag it in there. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm going to copy this, copy, and I'm going to say update, just so I can actually find it. So the file has been successfully saved. That can't be true, right, guys? That can't be true. Is it there? Nah. Oh my goodness. So there's the file. That's how easy this system is to navigate around now that you have it. So you don't have to, I guess, technically be a Linux guru to play around with this. There's also, I'm going to jump down to networking. So we have a bandwidth monitor. Let's say we want to monitor Ether1 because that's the one that we managed. I'm going to call this main. So this is monitoring kind of your bandwidth. So what just happened is I turn on the monitoring, so we're going to go back and be able to look at this file later. Something else that is probably a pain point to a lot of us when we need to open something up, and that's the Linux firewall. This right here allows you to manage that firewall. It allows you to set up incoming traffic and outgoing traffic using IP tables. You got IPv4 and IPv6. And all you have to do, literally, for incoming packets, let's say we want to add a rule. We add a rule. Rule comments. Do you want to accept or drop it, reject it, so on and so forth. And then you have the option of source address or network and destination address or network, which is probably going to be the same address. And then you have the incoming interface you want this to come on. That's the two interfaces plus your loopback. And then, guys, you have ports. This thing is just crazy how fast. Literally, you could make a rule within 10 minutes. And I say 10 minutes. I meant 1 minute. 10 minutes to even get this server installed once you have your system up and running. A minute to actually do all that firewall work. Network configuration. So here's your network interfaces. This is going to kind of be hard. If you don't have a way to get to your server after you do the install. But if we wanted to add a new interface to this, we would be able to add another interface to this. Loopback is our current loopback, and these are our two interfaces. So I can click on Ether1, and this just gives me the basic stuff that's in my configuration file. And you can add more, so you can add another network port if you wanted to. We can go over here to hardware, partitions and local drives. There's no drives hooked to this because we haven't mounted anything, but we can. We can hook printers to this. And another thing is clustering. We can create cron jobs. We can create shell commands. We can create software packages, so we can add software packages to this server. And we can go down here to our unused modules. These are all the modules that we can install in the server, and we can manage through the Webmin client. Again, I'll probably do another series on doing this, but maybe doing like a intrusion detection system like a SQL, or maybe setting up a mail client. We kind of have some options here. We can set up a DHCP server, a voicemail server, which is really cool. Of course, there's your SQL and your proxy server, so we can set up a proxy server. We can set up a spam server for mail. So there's just so much we can do within this Webmin system. So if you like this video, again, like and subscribe and hit that bell for new videos that I post. And don't forget to leave anything in the comments. If you like this video, if you need me to show you something else, if you need me to be more detailed on things, just let me know. This is not my channel, it's our channel. So until then, I will talk to you guys later.